What would you do if the one person you built your entire world with was secretly building another one without you? I found my answer staring at a glowing laptop screen at 2 in the morning. The blue light painting stripes across our silent Chicago bedroom was my wife Sarah's Amazon account, left open by mistake. And there it was. A wish list titled for us, except us wasn't me. It was a list of delicate lingerie, silk robes, and things I can't even say out loud, all being shipped to a townhouse in Lincoln Park I had never even heard of. My heart didn't just break. It felt like it evaporated. The last item on the list was a men's watch, a brand I knew was his favorite. That's when I knew my life was a lie. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Sarah was my everything. We met at Northwestern, 2 kids with more dreams than dollars, and we built a life from scratch. I worked my tail off in finance to give her the world. We had a beautiful brownstone near Millennium Park, a life that looked perfect from the outside. But over the last year, a subtle chill had crept into our home. It started with late nights at her marketing firm, client dinners that stretched past midnight. Then came the guarded phone calls, the way she'd angle her screen away from me. The sudden need for girls' weekends that left me feeling more like a roommate than a husband. I tried to talk to her. "Sarah, is everything okay? You seem so distant." She'd just laugh, a cold, polished sound that didn't reach her eyes. "Don't be so dramatic, Mark. I'm just busy. We're fine." She was so good at making me feel like I was the crazy one, like my insecurity was the problem, not her behavior. She was manipulative, turning my love and concern into a weapon against me. I started to doubt myself, to feel small and pathetic. The villains of this story, my wife and her lover, felt untouchable, wrapped in a bubble of arrogance. That night, with the Amazon page burning into my retinas, was when the doubt ended and the certainty began. It was a physical pain, a weight pressing down on my chest until I could barely breathe. I stumbled into the bathroom, leaned over the sink, and just stared at the broken man in the mirror. Tears streamed down my face, not just for the betrayal, but for the fool I had been. That was my lowest point. But as the sun began to rise over Lake Michigan, something inside me shifted. The grief turned hard, crystallizing into a cold, clear purpose. They thought they were untouchable? I was about to prove them wrong. My revenge wasn't going to be a screaming match. It was going to be a slow, quiet demolition. I became a ghost in my own home. I hired a private investigator, a former cop with tired eyes who knew the city's dirty secrets. He confirmed everything within a week. The affair partner was James, a senior partner at her firm, a man I'd shaken hands with at company parties. The Lincoln Park address was his. The pious report was a gallery of my humiliation. Pictures of them kissing outside. The Peninsula Hotel, receipts from romantic dinners at Alenia, a place she told me we couldn't afford. I saved every photo, every receipt. I copied her phone records, downloaded her texts. I had a digital mountain of proof. While gathering evidence, I started laying the legal traps. I met with the sharpest divorce attorney in Chicago, a woman who looked like a shark in a designer suit. We went through our finances. I had made most of the money, but in Illinois, it was all marital property, except for the money she was spending on her affair. My lawyer smiled. "We can argue dissipation of assets," she said. "Every dollar she spent on him, you get back." So I documented it all. The $5,000 watch, the hotel stays, the lavish gifts. It was a meticulous ledger of her betrayal. I also quietly moved my personal savings and inheritance into a separate trust, legally walling it off. She had no idea. The final piece was social ruin. Sarah was obsessed with her image. She was on the board of a major children's charity, a position she flaunted. Her whole identity was built on being this perfect, charitable, successful woman. Their annual charity gala was in 3 weeks, a massive event at the Navy Pier Ballroom with every important person in Chicago attending. Sarah was giving the keynote speech. It was the perfect stage. The night of the gala arrived. Sarah looked radiant in a silver gown, completely oblivious. She held my hand as we walked in, whispering, "Aren't you proud of me?" I just smiled, a hollow, empty gesture. James was there too, looking smug, giving me a knowing little nod from across the room, as if we were in on some joke. He had no idea the joke was on him. Sarah took the stage to thunderous applause. The room was dark, with a giant screen behind her, ready for a slideshow about the charity's good work. She began her speech, her voice full of false sincerity. "Community is about trust," she started. "It's about the bonds we build." The room fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd of hundreds. Sarah froze, her face turning from shock to horror to pure, unadulterated panic. Her stammered, tried to speak, but no words came out. Someone in the front row, the wife of James's boss, just stood up and walked out. Then another, and another. Within minutes, the room was emptying. James, his face ashen, practically ran for the exit. Sarah was left alone on stage, a spotlight pinning her to her own public execution. I didn't stick around to watch the aftermath. I walked out into the cool night air by the lake and just breathed. The next morning, divorce papers were served to her at the home we once shared. The dissipation claim meant she walked away with almost nothing. Her firm fired her. James's wife divorced him. They were both utterly destroyed, their careers and reputations turned to ash. I sold the brownstone and moved out of the city. Sometimes, late at night, I think about her. I don't feel anger or sadness anymore. It's just quiet. The silence she left behind is the loudest thing in my life. The end.